Lifers, this is Paik4Life coming at you with another random review. Oh, this is interesting. They always be changing stuff here. Oh, interesting. All right. Sorry, I'm just looking at some of these new features that they have on the latest version of the YouTube app. They're always changing stuff. So, in any case, doing a random review of a figure I got a little while ago that I don't know why I got, but I decided to get it. So this is Toyseasy Metal Souls Tiger. So you all might know this if you play around on like the Shozy store or some other Chinese sites. Hey, Anthony Brown. This is the company that that does like the battleships, transforming battleships. They're not based off of any cartoon or media. I think they're all original characters, and even the battleships also transform and combine. I got this one because TM Reviews, who's in the chat right now, he said this looks kind of cool, and I agreed. I thought it looked pretty cool. It looked pretty badass. It looked pretty mean. And it was only $80, which is way cheaper, about half the price of what the other figures from this company sell at. And so it got me curious. You have 3 of their figures, Anthony Brown. How are they? Pretty good. For me, again, I don't know. This is the cheapest one, so maybe this is going to be the cheapest feeling in the lowest quality. But there feels like there's something missing with this. But that's not to say it's all bad. So the box itself is pretty nicely done. I mean, the artwork and the design is really nice. It has this shiny metal logo here. You get the alt mode, which is a tank. I don't know what kind of tank. Don't ask me. It's probably a tiger of some sort. It's YW2412. On the back, you get images of it in robot mode. He has some blast effects, which are actually quite nice. We'll take a look at those. His robot mode and some of the details that you can see in his alt mode, which are really finely detailed. I will say that's probably one of the things that this company is probably best known for, is the details and realisticness of their alt mode. So with that, let's go ahead and get it out of packaging. All right. Oh shoot, I forgot to turn off. I'm getting messages and notifications because I forgot to put on Do Not Disturb, my streaming focus. So he does come with instructions. They're not the best because they are sometimes hard to see, and sometimes they just do things in ways that don't work, that are out of order. So we're going to try to make do without it. I actually practiced this, and it's not that hard. But I practiced this a couple days ago, and I should have did a review a couple days ago. So we'll see if we can get through this pretty smoothly or not. But the artwork on this is also quite nice, as you can see. I like the kind of ink style of this comic book style. He also comes with some stickers that you can use. They're just random letters and numbers, I guess, maybe for this tank that you can put on or not. I'm not going to do it. He comes in robot mode. Oh, sorry. In this plastic clamshell. And let's see here. He comes with a battle axe, which the handle is die cast, which is nice. It has some gold detail. Springer comparison. You know I got you. Oh, something. Oh, some of the blast effects dropped in here while I was messing around. So he has this little tiny blast effect here, which you can see, and it's actually gradient colored, so it's darker red and goes out to kind of like a yellow at the tip, which is nice. He has the same similar one, but a much larger one here. He has this other one that this works in conjunction with his cannon, which is parts forming. We're gonna actually bring that out right here if we can get it out. This barrel is also die cast. I actually think these are interchangeable now that I think about it. I haven't tried it, but I think they are interchangeable. Ugh. Or maybe not. I thought, yeah, there we go. Yeah, so I think these are interchangeable. Yeah, they are. So these look exactly the same except without the paint details. So I guess you can swap them if you want a little gold detail in your tank. But this is the barrel for the tank here. So it is some parts forming. And then we got the last blast effect right here, which are for his axe. And again, these are really nicely done. They're not rubber, they're like hard plastic, all of these, but they're pretty nicely detailed, especially the flame effect on this one. Nice molded detail. He does come in robot. I don't know anything about tanks, and I don't even know what this kind of style hat is from. It feels like, I don't know, some kind of European or Russian style army hat. You can see he has a really mean face, and he has kind of a reticle around his left eye, I think, which is highlighted more in the artwork. You can barely tell here, but he has kind of a skull design. The helmet almost and the emblem kind of reminds me of M. Bison for some reason from the Street Fighter series. But he does come in robot mode. He does feature a little bit of diecast. He has some diecast in the feet area here, and I think that's probably about it. But like I said, the things that this company is probably most well known for is just the overall detail that it has. It does have a lot of nice paint going on. It has some reds and grays and blacks. It's not fully painted, but it is painted in a lot of good areas that highlights the detail. Like on the thighs, they have some black detail here. So he has some pretty good color separation. You can see all the surface details that are, I guess, accurate to the tank itself, the alt mode. They have the different hatches and these little things here. I don't know if these are guns or what they are. He also has a little barrel right here on the shoulder on this side, which we'll see in alt mode. The treads and everything like that, the turret and everything. So he looks quite good. The treads are just hard plastic. They don't actually move, and there's no wheels. When we get to alt mode, you'll see that he doesn't have any wheels here. Oh, and the knees also feel like they're die cast. So he has a bit of die cast, but overall, I think his robot mode looks really nice as an original character and original design. And I really dig the colors. The original photos that came out of this guy made it look like he was going to be kind of like a dark blue. And I think this darker gray, almost black color works really, really well with him, especially with the red that pops. All right, so let's take a look at some options that you have in robot mode before we do some articulation and so forth. So he does have weapons that he can hold. He doesn't have any tabbing or anything like that. He just has to kind of grip around it with his fingers. His hands aren't the best. We'll get into more detail around that once we do the articulation, but he can hold the axe just fine, as you can see here, but it slides up and down just because, again, there's no tabbing mechanism in his hands for it to hold it like you're used to. This tank barrel can actually slot in only on one side on his right shoulder, and the orientation doesn't matter. You can plug it in either way. It tabs in, and it has like a big shoulder gun, a shoulder cannon, which looks pretty cool. As far as blast effects, either of the cannons can use a combination of this piece, which tabs onto the tip, and this one that plugs into the tip to get this really combined blast effect here. The smaller blast effect actually goes on this little cannon or turret here. You just got to be careful because it's actually mounted as kind of like a ball joint. And if you push it too hard to get it stuck on, it might push out the back. So just be careful with that. But you got, see, even when I was trying to hold it in place, it popped out. So, but yeah, you can see how that works. His axe, they have two halves that have tabs that allow you to tab both halves together, and they combine. And then you have a nice blast effect here. It does make it heavier. And again, his hands aren't the best in terms of gripping, but it does look quite nice, to be perfectly honest. It's probably one of my favorite things about this. Argonut prefers foam packaging. Oh, hey, Princeton, how's it going? I don't know. Styrofoam really bothers me, and the squeakiness gets on my nerves for sure. So those are some options that you have for the blast effects. We'll show them off again in alt mode. I guess you could also use his it almost looks like a hoe. His turret as a hoe if you wanted. Alternatively, he also has kind of a warpath mode where if you pull this up, there's a little tab here that allows you to grip that and pull this nub around, which is for his alt mode cannon. And you can get this kind of looking like warpath a bit. Kablam! Kablam! You can also take off his hand, which is just on a peg, either hand, and then you can peg this on to have an arm cannon, which is what I showed in the thumbnail. But yeah, those are all the accessories. Again, the blast effects are probably my favorite part of the accessories. They all work pretty well, and they all look quite nice. So let's do some, well, let's do a quick 360. He's actually very clean. He doesn't have much of a backpack at all. He has a small one up here with the turret, but he cleans up quite well. He doesn't have any gaps anywhere. His calves are all filled in. He doesn't have any emptiness in his legs, really. Nothing in his arms. So I think they did a really good job with this design. Here, let me fold this back in real quick. I think they did a really good job with this design and transformation. This is having trouble getting back in for some reason. There we go. But yeah, overall, I think he looks really good, really mean. I have no idea if he's a good guy or bad guy, but I would imagine with the red eyes, he's probably a bad guy. So let's go into articulation, and we'll do comparisons as well. So his head is on a ball joint, so you can see him wiggle and wobble around. He can look a little bit up, a little bit down, but not much, and he can turn side to side and bobble his head. His shoulders are on several joints, several like hinges here. So you can see how there's a hinge inside the body, another one here, and another one inside the arm itself. You have a rotational joint, which is very squeaky and tight. But you can kind of fake, I guess, a little bit of butterfly joint if you want to with this. Not really. By going like this. Not much of one. But it is, it does give you a lot of freedom with the shoulder. Oh, this cannon is not staying inside. But let's see, where else are we? He does have a bicep swivel, really more at the elbow, 360. Again, very squeaky. He does have double jointed elbows here. Sorry, I'm trying to show you. There's one in here and one down here. There's actually another joint up here. So I guess you can say it's 3 joints. The top one is really to help it kind of move forward. And then these are for kind of like bending. So you can see those. His wrists are on those posts so they can go around. If you untab his fist, you can also get a little bit of angling here. But again, that's not really intended. Oh, sorry. The cannon mounts on the shoulder too, Paik. I did show that. I showed that really earlier. I showed that a while ago, so I don't know if you missed that. Hey, Monster, how's it going? Hey, Keith Lee. Hey, Team Man. Yeah, it doesn't have more likes because it's not Marg. My Marg is somewhere in Korea, I think. I don't even have tracking number for it. Let's see here. So his hands are not the greatest. He does have a ball peg at the thumb and a one hinge at the thumb base. Not one at the tip. All 4 of his fingers are mounted in at the base of the hand, and they're all one piece up until the fingertips. So this joint here and this joint here are all one piece, and then you only get a little bit of movement for each individual fingertip. So it's not the greatest. I would have loved to have seen that actually be down here, so you can have 4 individual fingers. No splaying of any sort. No wrists back and forth or anything like that. So pretty limited in terms of articulation there. He doesn't have a lot of ab crunch, but enough. You can see he goes down about not quite 45 degrees. You might be able to push it a bit more, but I don't think so. And again, most of his joints feel very kind of scary and squeaky. I don't love them. You can see his waist does swivel 360, and then he has a hip skirt that can move to the front. Hip skirts that can move to the back. They are all on, this one is on a ball peg, but you can't really use it aside from front to back. This other one to the side does move, but it's really just for transformation. My left hip is really scary. Like, it feels like it's probably going to shear off at some point if I use it too much, but you can see it sounds like it's ratcheted, but it's not. It's just squeaking really badly. So I might have to look into how I might be able to fix that before it breaks off. it does not sound great. This one is not as bad. I mean, it's squeaky, but it moves and it doesn't feel as scary. He can go out to the side 90 degrees. He has a thigh swivel, which can go pretty far. He has these knee joints or knee covers, armor, I don't know, that have a little pivot there. He does have a knee bend, which goes pretty far, more than 90 degrees for a single knee joint, not too bad. Again, hear the squeakiness. He has ankle tilts that go out and a little bit in. He has some rotation all the way around here. He has a separate heel spur that can come down and up. And then he has a double jointed toe, which can point up. It can point ever so slightly down, not a ton. And then he has a front to back rocker, which is quite nice. I think that's mostly it in terms of articulation. I usually feel like I miss one point of articulation somewhere. I don't know why. I just always seem to go out of order or something like that. But overall, I think he has okay articulation. The shoulders, while they do look kind of weird, they do give you a little bit more range and a little bit more posability that I used in the thumbnail. But it's not the best. I would love to have seen like a rotation or something like that to give you a little bit more of a butterfly joint, but it's not terrible. All right, so let me do some comparisons. Oh, actually, let me do some weights and sizing as well, since I always seem to forget to do that. Some people don't like the comparisons I do, so having an actual measurement is useful. So this guy is 242 grams. That's the equivalent of 8.6 ounces. Let's see who I have. Oh, measurement-wise, he's about a little bit over 8 inches to the top of the head. Here he is with MMC Drift, which is coming out soon. Here he is with MMA's Optus Pectus as well as MP44. And as requested, Springer. This is MMC Springer. Who else do I have? I have Gary here as well. And, oh, how about this guy? For a mainline figure, here he is next to Tarn. You can see Voyager Tarn. He is quite small in comparison to a Voyager Tarn. So hopefully that gives you at least a decent amount of comparison for Tiger here. Let me get some of these folks out of the way, and then we'll keep going with transformation. Oh, speaking of Marg earlier, our good friend TM Reviews has put both his unboxing as well as his full review up. So make sure to check that out. I haven't been able to check out his full review yet, but I'm sure it's great. He's been gushing over the beauty of the Fans Toys Marg Ultra Magnus. So I'm sure it's a nice looking figure at the very least, regardless of what the opinions are on the transformation and so forth. All right, so let's get this guy transformed. Again, he's not terrible. There are some things that the instructions don't show all that well, and I'm going to try to remember exactly how to do this. So the first thing I know that they kind of do is with the legs. So let's go ahead and start with the legs. I also like getting the arms kind of all pulled out like this, because you're going to need a little bit of room here. The first thing before I forget, let's show on the hip area here. You want to pull up his butt flap. That unlocks his hips, and he has basically drop down hips that need to come down like so. They'll tab together and bring the thighs closer together. Once that's done, you can fold that in. You do also want to fold in these hip skirts on the side. That will tuck in like so. All right, next up, we're going to start dealing with the leg here. If you come to the back, these were tabbed in. You want to untab these like so and bring them out to the side. I like bending the knees, untabbing this, and then rotating this 180 to get it in the right orientation. Like they tell you to rotate that, but you need to rotate at the knee in order for all that to work. All right. Then we'll bring this stuff around and they'll tab into the front here. All right, coming to the lower leg, this was underneath there. You want to just pull that out. This is obviously part of the treads. You want to fold in the heel. And I think you want to, I always forget. I think you have to tuck this up like this, the toe, kind of accordion it. You want to rotate it and then bring it out to the side like this, I believe. All right. And then this is all going to kind of flip around like so. And then where this foot will go, is into the side of the body. Did I mess something up here already? Oh, I don't have the knee straight. Sorry. That's why I was like, why isn't it going into... So you'll see this goes kind of into the side here. But for now, let's just leave it like so. There's some other stuff that we need to do. This will also fold down afterwards. And this will fold in and tab. It's supposed to tab in here. Yeah, so that's all kind of how it looks on this side. And then we got to deal with this a little bit later. So let's just deal with the other leg first. And then we'll get everything kind of oriented. So again, untabbing these side pieces here. You can bring them forward and tab them into the front of the knees. You can lift this up. You can bring this down. You can get the heel in, accordion the toe up, rotate it, and bring it to the side like that. Make sure that you do bend the knees, because if you try to rotate it when it's not bent, you're going to run into these pieces here, and that's a no-no. So you bend the knees, rotate this around. When you close it up, that big tab will lock everything into place. Bring this out, and again, this will kind of rotate around and in, kind of coming into the sides here, and then you can bring this knee piece down. With that done, you can bring both halves together and tab them in, and then you form basically the back of the alt mode, essentially, like so. All right, now let's deal with the arms and upper body. I always forget if I deal with the chest first or not, but let's just deal with the hands first. You want to fold up the hands kind of like this, and you can bring, I think, the hands out to the side. I don't think it really matters. You do want to untab on the side here. You want to bring the hand up like this so that the back of the hand will fold up and rest on the forearm. You want to bring that around and rotate this 180. This piece here can be a little bit weird, so you need to bring this up. And the one place that ends up being kind of weird is that sometimes this little flap space filler will get in the way. So you kind of want to get it through here like so. And all these pieces there's a bunch of double hinges on this figure. You want to bring this piece up. You want to bring this piece out to the side and up. You're going to come to the back here, unfold this kind of wheel thing or tread thing. You want to untab here if it was already tabbed in. You're going to want to bring the arm, which was tucked in like this. Use the double hinge to bring it forward and underneath that flap that you had moved around. This double hinge that houses all like the elbow joints and stuff like that. Once you unfurl all this, and get it around like that so these pieces line up. You want to bring that up on that double hinge and back, and you'll see this tab in right here. This little flap you're going to want to fold in. It's like a space filler for this mode. And then you want to get the forearm down, and there's kind of an over and under tab right here, like so. And that's basically this side done. We're going to have to fold it all in a little bit, but let's go ahead and do the other side. So we can flip this up, flip this open, flip this up. You do have to do it in that order because of the tab here. We can even do this first. So you can take this double hinge and extend it out and underneath that flap first if you want. Coming to the lower arm, you can just untab this section, which releases the hand to fold up back on itself like that. You want to pull this up, rotate 180. You want to open this section all the way up, and this piece needs to come around on this double hinge and straighten out so that these pipes all line up together. Using the double hinge on the side here, you want to extend that up and around. And once again, tab that in up here. Push in the space filler, bring the hand down, and get these tabbed into place. Like so. This piece, once again, you want to flip this one tread thing out, untab this at the back of the shoulder here. And now we're going to start dealing with the middle part of the body. So with the middle part of the body, he actually extends. His upper body has a couple of hinges here. We're going to want to bring this whole thing forward. You can pull out on this backpack. You need to pull out on this backpack a bit. Here, it's easier to show back here. Pull this out, and you want to rotate it clockwise. Come on. That'll give you enough room for this to open and for the head to tuck in. Close that up. You're going to pull up on the middle chest, the side chest. Am I missing something? Is this supposed to fold? It feels like it's running into something. It might be just clearance issues. Did I mess something up? It's kind of weird. This is supposed to fold up, if I'm not mistaken, but it looks like it's running into the chest here right now. Did I mess something up? Okay, let me reverse this real quick because something does not seem to be wanting to jive here. Yeah, rotate this up. Rotate this down. Oh, maybe, oh, sorry. I probably had to pull this back more to give you a little bit more room. All right, sorry about that. Rotate this down. Once you have that done, you can also rotate this hatch around like so. And then fold up this piece, but not until you flip out this turret thingy, this post that we used to demonstrate before. It's kind of hard to get out, so I'm just going to use this real quick. Like so, Jeopardy theme. Thanks, T. All right. So with that, now we can rotate this whole piece around into the back. There's a little peg here that will go in here, but we're going to save that for now. This backpack piece that we rotated, we can now double hinge that up and rotate this around. And you'll see that this makes the turret with a cannon that's facing forward. Now we can actually make everything come together. So once we have this cleared, we're going to use these bunch of hinges on the shoulder joints. And what we're going to do is basically collapse it in on itself like so. Oh, making sure we have this down. Collapse it in on itself. So this hinge, this first double hinge goes all the way in to the body. This will come around. Then you have a bunch of stuff that you have to deal with here. There's an over-under tab here that comes into the back, which is a little hard to get into because there's also a side piece that needs to go in. These wheels are on double hinges that will come out to the side here. Why is this piece not wanting to? All right, so coming down in here, we need to rotate this around. I should have rotated this around first, then use this double hinge to come around, and then we're going to go ahead and extend all these pieces here. This tab will go into the front here once you get this all the way down. And this area is a little tight in terms of just space that you have, makes this getting this all tabbed in a little bit challenging here. So I'm going to try to get everything tabbed, but if I don't, then we're just going to do our best. There's a tab here that goes into the top of the treads. If we can get it. And again, try to get your finger behind there. Okay, that worked pretty well. And then we're going to close up these treads there. Okay, that wasn't too bad. All right, I think we're in pretty good shape here. Lastly, on this side, we want to rotate this 180, scooch it back, and there's a tab here that tabs this into place. So that's one side done. Let's go to the other side. This tab will close a little bit later because we need to have both halves in the right orientation first. So same thing on this side. We're going to try to get all, I guess we'll rotate this now. And then we can scooch this out to the side here. But we want to get this hinge all the way tucked in. Sorry, I'm making a lot of rattling sounds here on my display. So you want to get this in. This flap went up when it should have been down. Like so. And then we just do a little bit of finessing to get these tabs in the right place. This over-under tab back here. Then we start tabbing into two halves. At some point, you can close up this right panel first and then this left panel second because it's an over-under tab. It's not a two halves together. It's an over-under tab. Just be careful about that. Get this tab, if you can, all the way into the top of those treads. Again, a little bit easier said than done just because of the lack of space you have to kind of support it. And then back here, we have that tabbed. Rotate this around, scooch it up, tab that in. And now that we have everything in place, you can just give this a little squeeze to make sure it tabs in place here. There's a couple over tabs that will tab in to the rest of the body. All right, so that mostly looks clean. And then last but not least, you want to take the turret, and I think this little dot piece is supposed to go on the left side. And you just peg that in. And with that, I know it seemed a little more difficult than it was because I messed up on the head, but this is how Tiger looks in his alt mode. Again, there's no wheels on the bottom, so he just slides. But he slides quite well, I suppose. And he looks really great. His alt mode looks fantastic, I think. Overall, it has a lot of attention to detail, a lot of little just design things, surface details, little emblems, the numbers here on the back. That's why you want to make sure that this is rotated the correct way, clockwise. His hatch does open here. I don't know if that's the correct orientation for the hatch, to be perfectly honest. Maybe it is to be kind of a shield, but again, I'm not a tank guy, but that's what the instructions said. There are a couple other details like hatches here and there that don't open. He does still have his little gun up front, which again, you can use this blast effect. Just be careful once again. If you push too hard, it's going to push the joint out. So just be careful on that. You can once again use these blast effects here. If I can get it in, like so. As far as I know, I don't think there's any storage for the axe. They don't mention it anywhere in the instructions, so I don't know that there is one. I thought maybe we could use these tabs, but maybe TM knows if there's any storage. I thought maybe that's why you could separate these pieces. I thought maybe you can use this tab maybe back here on this tab on the foot, but it doesn't even look like a true tab. Yeah, he also says no storage for the axe. So unless we're both mistaken, which could be the case, but I couldn't get this to fit. And I thought maybe this could fit in here in this gap or something like that. But as far as I know, as far as TM Reviews knows, there's no storage here. The figure seems substandard in terms of quality to me. I wonder if it's me. Overall, the plastic actually feels quite nice. It's just the tolerances in some areas, like all the squeakiness that you heard before. But it does actually transform quite well and in place. And if I were to spend a little bit more time, you'd have less gaps than I'm currently showing. But it actually feels quite solid. Like it feels like a very substantial tank, very dense. Plastic quality is good. Just a little bit of details like the parts forming turret and the squeaky joints, especially mine at the hips. Those are the only real concerns I have for this figure. The turret does have a little bit of articulation, as you can see here, going up and down on that chest joint, and then you can go 360 around like so. You can unpeg it as well to get, I guess, a little bit of downward angle. I don't know how accurate that is. And then these pieces, I don't even know what they are. They look like guns or missile launchers or something like that. Again, I have no idea how accurate those are. These are also pegged in. I don't know why they decided to do that, but they work just fine. It does make me concerned though. So since you are putting a lot of force moving this around, just be careful. Try to push it as close to the base as possible so you don't like potentially break off that peg. But yeah, I think it looks quite good. In terms of size, you can see just how he measures up with MP Streak here. He's a little bit shorter. Definitely a little bit wider. He has very similar lower body in terms of you have his butt here and his thighs here, and you can see all that. His hands are, where are his hands? Oh, his hands are up in the upper part. So, but pretty similar. I don't have any other alt mode tanks to show off, or even any other alt mode vehicles. I'm looking around here. Do I have anything in alt mode? The only other one that I have is MP. Oh no, I do have my second. It's not even mine. A second drift in alt mode. So this is again Ocular Max's upcoming drift. He's a little bit shorter than drift here, and quite a bit wider. But yeah, I do think he looks quite good though. The tank looks really nice. Lamonster says, I love the tank, not so much the bot. Tend to hate the lower legs and feet on this company's bots. Oh, yeah. I mean, what was that other company that did like that weird jet that I reviewed a while ago? It was like years ago. It felt like very high quality, but the decisions and tolerances and transformations weren't that great. But this one, I guess, if I had to compare it to a third-party company, Transformer wise, I think maybe it feels kind of like a G Creations in that area, in terms of overall feel. Maybe a little bad cubish. Maybe I'm just thinking that just because he's a tank and they did a Warpath, their War Dog. But I feel like this feels a lot more solid in this alt mode than War Dog did. The body proportions remind me of those transforming warships, those random transforming Gatling guns, Nerf guns. Yeah, again, this is the same company that does those battleships, so that kind of makes sense. I don't know about the transforming Nerf. Oh, yeah, those were from years and years ago. But yeah, I think that's it for the alt mode. We'll go ahead and transform this back and get into final thoughts. All right, take off the turret. We'll unpeg this. We kind of want to get some of these over-under tabs released. And there's another one back here. Again, the one here is an over-under tab, but it's kind of blocked by this side panel. So it's kind of hard to get. You kind of want to pull out a little bit here. I find it a little bit easier with a spudger. So let me just rely on my trusty spudger here. Come on, there we go. So this over-under tab here, same thing, we'll just go on the other side around here. Come on, release. Okay, there we go. We'll go ahead and unpeg this, rotate it around, flip it 180, and fold this to become part of the back leg, kind of the calf area. Down here, actually up front, because I always forget this, untab these. This is an over-under tab once again, so do not just try to jam it together. We're going to go ahead and untab the treads here and here. And then we're going to pull down on the front wheel. These are the kind of shoulder areas. These kind of rock back on a small double hinge here. Untab. There we go. Back like so. Let's go ahead and split the front of the tank and then try to get all these pieces kind of the arms out of the way if we can. I guess we can go with the legs first. We can go with the legs. Get the arms out to the side. It's supposed to come out to the side. There we go. Out to the side. And remembering to extend all these inner shoulder joints to just get it splayed out like this for now. I guess we can go ahead and do the arm transformation. So let's go ahead and rotate this back 90 degrees and then fold this flat. These shoulder pieces will double hinge inward like so. This piece will fold back on itself, and then we're going to curl this around, and you'll see there's a little slot here where this tabs in. This piece we want to untab, and it's on a double hinge that will come down here. We'll just lift this up and rotate that for now. This will fold around to the side. This space filler needs to come up, and then we want to basically rotate this around so this tab will go into the forearm here. We do want to make sure that we get this piece oriented in the right way, which is to get it extended as far as possible. The reason why we need to do that is because this hand will come down and around. And then this piece will tab in here. And then this piece will close up and lock the hand into place. And then this piece can just fold along the side here. So that's basically one arm. You do want to fold this down and then close up the side panel. Use the double hinged arm to get it rocked into the shoulder and fold this flap down. So that's one arm done. We'll repeat on the other side here. So we can do the double hinge shoulder, get it up and in, rotate this flap back and around, fold this up. This will come down and tab into the back of the shoulder there. This piece will untab here, double hinge, and rotate at the same time. The space filler will come out. This arm piece will rotate around. All right, this piece is going to fold back around on itself, but before you do that, remember to extend this piece down like that. So the hand will come down, tab in here, and then this will lock the wrist into place. Use a double hinge here to get it back into the shoulder itself. Fold this flap down, and then close it around the side. Then you have both arms done. Now let's deal with the turret section. We can kind of just get these arms out to the side. We do want to extend this, and we're going to rotate it. The chest piece, we're going to rotate this hatch back around like so. So it's kind of pointing northeast. Rotate these back. Rotate these forward. Oh, sorry, I forgot to rotate the turret. I was supposed to do that earlier. Rotate that turret first. I'm kind of going out of order here. Pull this flap down, get this peg inside the chest so that when you rotate all these down. There's some collision here, sorry. Bring up the neck panel to get the head out. Close that back down. Close these back forward. Oh no, these are supposed to stay back. And then this piece will come back around like that, locking into the main body. And then this piece here on the front, there's 2 tabs on these pieces that will rotate forward to lock that in. And then this ab piece also has a tab there that locks like so. So there is the upper body. We can get the shoulders collapsed in like so. So he looks kind of normally proportioned. I'm going to get the arms a little bit out of the way for now. Split the legs. Flip this panel up, get this up, because you need these knee pieces kind of out of the way. Bend at the knee, so you can rotate this around 180. Then we can straighten the leg out. And now we basically just put everything back into place. These little treads will go underneath here. This will close up and tab into the tread. These pieces will fold around and tab into the knee joint. Like so. The foot will ankle tilt down, rotate to the front, and you just need to get the heel out and get the foot, the toe area straightened out. And that's that leg. Same thing on the other side. So once again, you should be able to bend at this knee. There we go. Rotate this around 180. Straighten out the knee. These pieces will untab from the front to rotate around and tab to the side of the leg. Like so. Come on, stay tabbed. All right, there we go. This piece will fold back. These treads will fold underneath here. And then this tab will go into those treads there. We're going to ankle tilt, rotate, get the heel out, and get the toe out. Lastly, we're going to untab the butt panel here, flip up these side pieces, and then we're going to split the 2 hips and rock them up on those double hinges. You want to get them in this kind of orientation as close to the body as possible so that they lock in with this big slot here, like so. And with that, we have Tiger back in his robot mode. So final thoughts. So this guy retailed at Show Z for $80, $79.99 with free shipping. So that's why I picked him up. I thought that was a pretty good price for a figure this size. And I really want to try it out because I've heard some pretty good things about the battleships. And so I wanted to try a release from this this company and this line. I think it looks really good, but again, my concerns are kind of those small things here, the more nuanced, like refinements that you don't, I guess you kind of take for granted with a lot of third-party companies that we know, like the Fans Toys and the MMC, and even the, well, not really, because KFC also still has a lot of squeaky joints and tolerances. But you know, like the good companies that we have, they have that down pat, and I feel like we take that for granted a lot. But like this just sounds and feels super scary. Like I feel like this is just gonna shear off at any moment. So that's my biggest concern. For $80, if I didn't have any problems, and maybe that's just with my copy, maybe I just need to lube it up or something like that. If it weren't for that, yeah, TM says the same thing. TM, did you have the same issues with the squeakiness in the hips and everything like that? And even my shoulders. The shoulders I think I could live with, but they don't sound great either. And I don't know why. It seems to be an issue with both my figure's left sides. Like my right side, this is okay. It has a little bit of squeak, not a lot. Oh yeah, see, so TM says not as bad as mine, so I got lucky in this lottery, but definitely varying levels of tolerance. And again, this one doesn't feel great, but it also doesn't feel scary like the other one. So his left side is jacked up. Argonut says the same. He says his sounds the same. So that would be my biggest concern. I think he looks great. I think for 80 bucks, it's a fair price for this figure, for the size, for the accessories that you get, and the overall transformation and cleanliness of the robot mode. I really actually kind of dig this figure. I don't know why this one's not tabbing in, or this one for that matter. What happened? They were tabbed in before. All right, that was weird. Oh, I think I had this panel locked in here. That's probably why. This is supposed to be on the outside, I believe. So, in either case, for 80 bucks, maybe if you were to be able to get this on sale, because Shozi does have these figures on sale every once in a while, I would say pick it up. I mean, it's a fun little figure. If you're into, yeah, exactly what TM says. If you're into World War II stuff, it would be very cool. Jordan W sent it to him, and he lives near me. Oh, cool. Looks like he's wearing dress shoes. Uh, yeah, I guess. I don't, I don't know. Maybe because I wear dress shoes a lot that I don't see it, but I don't know. I think it's fine. And again, the weapons overall they're fine. They have nice die cast. This does have some die cast. I like the blast effects. So yeah, overall, I would say it's a pretty good figure. I would say if you have a love for these like real world vehicles like tanks and stuff like that, this might be one to buy. If you already have the battleships and that gun rail thing that they have, which reminds me of the GI Joe Transformers Shockwave. If you guys remember, I think it was Shockwave. Was that Hearts of Steel, or was that just GI Joe? Yeah, it was just GI Joe Transformers or something like that. In any case, if you guys like war vehicles and stuff like that, it might be a good addition to your collection, especially because the alt mode looks really nice. But yeah, that's it for today's random review, no notice review. I still need to do some other figures, most importantly the blades. But again, I feel like I'm transforming that figure in the wrong order. That makes it a little bit more frustrating than it's supposed to be. So I'm trying to wait for a little bit more direction from MMC before I review that. So apologies for taking long on that one. He is coming. I just don't want to do it a disservice by making it look more frustrating than it's supposed to be. I did want to say, hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I also wanted to thank TM Reviews for sending this over. He sent this to me, a little Optimus Prime Hallmark keepsake from 2022, apparently. So I'm going to definitely hang this on my tree later today or tomorrow. So thank you so much for sending that. Other things that I'll probably review, I still haven't even reviewed Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime. I haven't opened that up. I also have the accessories and kit, the diorama kit for the Initial D kit that Toy Dojo's selling. So I need to do that. It's a build-a thing, so I need to spend some time building that out. I think it's pretty easy to build, and I'll show it off with their drift. And he also sent me a little model of the 8.6, so you can we can compare it with that model as well. So those are a couple of things. They'll probably both be coming this coming week. Both at least the Toy Dojo Fujiwara Tofu Shop display, which I think is pretty cool. And then again, blades will probably be next week. Hopefully, I'll get some more instructions on that. I think that's it for today, everyone. Hope you guys have a good Thanksgiving, and we'll talk. Oh, and Marg, once he gets here, we'll do that. All right. I'm actually gonna go look at TM Reviews Marg video right before I go to sleep. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a good one, and we'll see you next time.